We're in here. Oh, we're in here, are we? Are we? Oh, there you go.
Oh, come in.
How you going?
Good. How you doing? Have a
Okay,
seat.
I made it. I made
Good
it.
on you.
I made it.
Yeah, have
made
a
it.
seat.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
That's
good.
Oh, welcome. I'm glad we've got the chance to have a chat about what's going on with your new album. So, how'd you come up with the name? Whatever.
Next question. No. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it was an old bandmate in one of the bands I played in down there in Keysborough. The bass player Shane, he used to say it all the time, and everything that he said was, oh, whatever. And I guess it stayed year after year. And when I was looking for an album title, that one seemed to resonate. Whereas the other one that I had a different one that didn't kind of eventuate for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know. It just didn't suit the song list. So yeah, cool. But that was basically where I got the name from.
Good. So how'd you come up with the songs on the album? What was the motivation for writing those particular songs? Or what was your inspiration?
Did you give her that question? I don't know how to give her those questions. He's trying to make me look like an idiot. I don't want to explain it. Do I have to explain it? All right. Yeah, okay. I'll stop being a tool. Yeah, the songs. Well, I've been writing songs for the last couple of years in the studio, and probably the first album I did was left over from the last band that imploded. So, and I didn't get a chance to record a lot of the ideas. So that was just kind of putting it out for family and friends who kept asking me what I was doing, and I thought, well, I'll put it out, and yeah, that's what I've been doing. I didn't promote it, didn't do any of that sort of crap that went with that. And then I had some other ideas and decided to put out Dirty Lie in 2016.
Yeah,
because there were some songs there that that I was into at the time, and I thought that was a good idea, And I didn't have a chance to record Dirty Lie that well in the studio with Crimson Face when I was in that. For some reason, we just did a demo of it, I think. I'm not sure now. I have to go back. But, yeah, it goes back a long way. But the songs, yeah, well, there was just a series of songs that I had. I was just recording stuff. And the single that got released was just pure accident because I just sent it to this guy over in Canada and he said, yeah, no problem. Like I'd sent other stuff out there and nobody really wanted to know about it. I'd actually sent Dirty Lie out to someone over here in Australia and they didn't really they couldn't find anything to do with it, so they just said sorry, and I went, oh, okay, but even though they liked it, so that was really weird. And then I thought I'll send that one out just as a matter of chance, and it became the single. So then from then I thought, well, we put a single out in March, and it was like, well, I guess maybe I should follow it up with an album, and I had a few other songs there, and during the year I recorded Sleepwalker, and what's the other one? Say It To My Face. I recorded that, and some of the other ones were done 3 years ago. Like that first single was 3 years old. I recorded it a while ago, and yeah, and probably a few of the other songs on there too are a little bit older as well. So there's only probably like 3 songs on there that I did this year. Maybe I can't really think of it offhand, but that's how it kind of worked out, And then it was a different order. Like the first order didn't really match, and I was just mucking around with it, thinking, well, there was a couple of songs on there that I probably didn't really want to play live. So, yeah.
Yeah, good on you. So some of the songs are, they're, I guess, quite controversial subject material. How did you come up with some of those for, like, the...
Next question.
Oh, come on, give us something.
I don't know. Can I answer that? This is going to get us into trouble. And it won't be my fault because I didn't give her the question.
Okay,
I didn't give it to her.
I take full responsibility.
You do you?
I do, yes.
Oh, so I have a disclaimer here.
I want it signed in blood.
All right. Well, I guess like the opening track, that has Sleepwalker has a very political element to it, because I guess the political climate at the moment I'm kind of not real happy about. I don't want to sit here discussing politics, but I think for a long time, even like you're talking about the USA and talking in the United Kingdom and our country, I think, you know, it hasn't really got any better for a lot of people. You know, like people are, you know, there's this kind of trickle up economics, I call it, rather than trickle down, where a lot of people now are a lot poorer than what they have been, and when it was supposed to get better and it hasn't. So I think a lot of people are really annoyed, and I think that's part of what, you know, I was kind of angry about that. I was angry that I was annoyed because, you know, I've practically lived with nothing. Like the album, we put it out on nothing. I've had pretty much no resources. It was done on a shoestring budget, so and it was kind of it was difficult. It was difficult because, you know, when you got no money, it's hard to do stuff when you got nothing. So part of the music came from probably that kind of, you know, part of me. You know, that I was sick and tired of being disadvantaged. You know, not just in your working life. You know, you're disadvantaged. Oh, even in the band scene, you know, like, you know, the last band I played in, we got marginalised by some of the other bands out there in Melbourne, you know, for some reason I don't particularly like us. Some of it was probably due to our own fault. You know, some of the band members that I had were kind of obnoxious, but I don't think, you know, I think, you know, I think Wheels had a way of imploding bands, you know, so he imploded the first one I was in anyway. He'll probably kill me when he hears this, but he imploded the first one that we're in, but eventually, you know, just going out, getting drunk, and being obnoxious didn't really do us any favors. You know, like a lot of the bands didn't want to network with, and I don't think they particularly liked what we were playing anyway. You know, they were into this metal rock thing where we weren't into the metal rock thing. We didn't really care too much for that. Like, I think Gaz, my drummer, he wanted to do it because they were all people that he knew. But me personally, I didn't really want to do it. I wanted to have a bit more of a melody going there. You know, like I wanted more melody in the music rather than have this kind of onslaught of screaming and kind of, I don't know, just not so subtle. I think it's like being belted over the head, yeah, with the sound. So mine was kind of a little bit subtle in that regard, and using different instruments too, like acoustic guitars. Like a lot of those guys, you know, if you front it up with acoustic guitar at the gig, you'll probably get your head kicked in front at the door. So I was a little bit different to them, and plus their sound, I got sick of everybody sounded the same. They all sounded like this metal rock thing, you know, and I guess part of why whatever is what it is was because I went in the other direction. I thought there was no room to go anywhere else. Like, well, I didn't want to kind of out grunge everybody else and out kind of loud them. And there was this kind of race to be the loudest, baddest metal rock band. But I went the other way because I got sick and tired of, like, we get up and play, and I looked around and I thought, well, we don't sound any different. We're all clones of each other. There was kind of nothing to sort of separate us, you know, from group to group, which I found that very uninteresting. But it was good. It was a good experience. Like, I don't. I think it was great for me personally as an artist because it meant that it gave me a direction. It gave me a kind of like, well, what will I do? Do I keep doing like what these guys do? And then I'm thinking, well, I'm just lost in the crowd really, and you get lost in the crowd anyway. So, you know, I thought I might as well do something, and I didn't like hearing that stuff anyway. The stuff I like to play had a little bit more melody to it.
Yeah, some of the bands that we've seen, they possibly have great lyrical content, but you can't tell. Whereas yours, you can actually decipher the lyrics, which can create controversy all by itself.
Yeah, well, yeah, I remember being at a gig down at the Espy there with another band of guys that we knew that I'd actually been in a band with one of them, Chris, and called Freight, and they did that. They got up there and muffled all the words, and I thought it was a bit of a shame because I liked what they did. They really rocked a good sound, but the lead singer, I couldn't understand a word that he said, so I thought that was, to me, that was, you know, you go to trouble writing, you know, like lyrics and poetry and stuff, and I thought, well, defeats the whole purpose of presenting it, you know, that way where it's all muffled and you just don't understand a single word. So I didn't, that I found a little bit puzzling, you know, that kind of perplexed me. I didn't realise, and there's a few people that did it like that, you know, like I didn't like it. I like to be clear about it, but the thing is, I was in some bands there that were doing like 3-part harmony, so I was a backing vocalist in one of the groups I was in, so we tended to do quite a bit of work with harmonising with our lyrics and with our songs. So that was kind of another thing that I noticed with the metal rock scene. There wasn't a great deal of, well, there wasn't really 3-part harmony as such. There were backing vocals, but it wasn't what we were doing. You know, we were doing the proper 3-part harmony thing, you know, but we were doing it with a rock sound. So that was sort of came into play as well, because I'd done that. When I was putting the vocals down, I would always sort of look at that and go, well, what can I do to make that sound, you know, and I'd sing along with it, just experiment, you know, because I'm kind of curious like that, you know. I think that's why I do that, you know. It's like, oh, what does this do? Boom, it didn't explode. Oh no. Oh good. Right, let's try this one. No, that's not happening. No, it's the same sort of thing, except I don't walk out with, you know, like with my hair up in the air and blackened face, you know, it blew up in my face. Yeah, it's really good.
So what's it like being an artist in modern times?
I know this is getting boring, but next question. I don't like that question. You got a better one there? That one.
Okay. How about, you know, give us some of the, you've given us a bit of the backstory already, you know, with the various bands you've been in and various roles you've played in those bands.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I guess, you know, any more parts of your backstory that you'd like to share with us?
Well, you know, I was on Facebook. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday. You know, in this punk group, that's on Facebook, and someone asked a question, if you know, about the Sex Pistols, you know, and I just put in one of the comments that I said that, you know, if it wasn't for the Sex Pistols, I probably wouldn't have bothered playing in a band, because it was accessible. That meant that we could just kind of get together and as a bunch of guys and play this stuff. And you didn't have to, you know, you only needed a couple of guitars and a drummer, and you didn't really need to be overly talented. You just needed the desire to do it. So it was that's kind of motivation, you know, that motivated me, and the kind of sound and the songs and the I guess the antiness of it. I think, you know, when you're a teenage guy, you hear that stuff, you know, and you're kind of rebellious anyway. And you hear that stuff and you're like, yeah, that speaks to me, you know, like it's like, yeah, you know, up the establishment type thing. And that was really appealing, you know, and that was a lot of fun, because, you know, you get into a band there and you're banging this stuff out, and it was high energy too, you know, like, you know, I was the drummer in one of the groups there, and I remember, you know, we were playing Exploited and playing GBH and stuff like that, and the drum beats, you know, I used to walk out there just drenched in sweat, so it was, you know, quite physically taxing, you know, because you're young and that, you know, like we used to hire out this scout hall and we were doing all day Sunday, you know. So that was a lot of fun, you know, and that, I think I draw on that experience, you know, like it's the only thing that keeps me going, is that they had this accessible sound, and I think sometimes I try to keep it that way too, where, you know, like when I hear something, you know, I want to actually have the desire to pick up a guitar and play along with it. Like Nirvana, you know, like when Nirvana came around, like when they were around, that was inspiring, because I think people wanted to pick up instruments and play. I think that was the thing about it, you know, like a lot of people will bag it and say how crap it was. And it's the same with the Sex Pistols. A lot of people, you know, a lot of the purists, and they all go, it's crap. But the thing is, they fail to realise that the reason it is what it is and why it was so popular at the time was because it had this type of accessibility about it, where people just wanted to pick up the guitar and start rocking it out to it. So, and that was the thing with me. There was a lot of stuff that did that, you know, that when I was playing guitars on my own, you know, it'd always be that stuff. Like, and there was a lot of Aussie rock too that did it to you, like the Angels and AC/DC and those sort of bands. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the influences in your music.
Yeah,
I do think that you know, some of them are simple songs like that. Some of them are a little more complex, and have some more layers to it.
Wow, you have done your homework, haven't you?
Of course, I've had it on my playlist.
Well, you know, I remember the last interview I didn't enjoy, because I wasn't really looking forward to being interviewed. I never really do it. It's one of those things, because this is why I like doing it with someone who knows me a little bit better, because like the last one I did, the guy knew me, but it was for Channel 31, and he was just got really drunk, and it almost erupted into a brawl. I think he was almost trying to provoke it into a brawl to make a big scene just to get attention to his show.
Well, I guess that would have added attention, as you say. Not great for you, though.
No, it wasn't great for me, but, you know, it was funny that I have a very vivid memory of that interview. It's really etched itself into I think I'm really traumatized by the whole affair, really. But
yeah, you can see the
but I just remember thinking, like, it was really funny because I got my own back on the guy, because when he switched on the camera really drunk and started provoking me, I had to ignore it, and I ignored all this provocation, and all this kind of derogatory terms that he had for the music I was playing, and I ignored it. And then the moment he switched the camera off and he looked at me, and I said to him, I said, you can call it whatever you like. I said, I don't give a shit. It's just that any PR is good PR. And he just gave me this wide-eyed look of like, oh, you understand how it works? It's like, yeah, of course I do. I've been around, So. But yeah, after then that show never went anywhere anyway. So thankfully,
Oh, well, I guess you got the last laugh in that case. So,
yeah, don't like to be like that, but anyway. Yeah, ha ha.
Okay, so what have you got planned? What's coming up?
What's coming up? At the moment, I'm just having a break because I'm sick and tired of going into the studio. And the album comes out in November the 9th. That's the official release. It's getting around in a few places now. So I was just going to take a break until that happens, and then I guess you got Christmas, so there'll be just family things to do. But next year, I'm probably looking at maybe, I don't know, I have to think about it. Yeah, I don't know if I really wanted to do another album. Like, I wasn't sure. Like, it just depended on like how whatever did. If it did really well and people liked it, then I think that'll give me more motivation to go back into the studio and to do a bit more. I've got a few songs there, but I haven't really thought about it too much. Sometimes I get the idea, like, yeah, let's go in and do something about it while I can, because I'm kind of like that. I think, well, let's get this done while I've got the opportunity, because years ago I never had the opportunity. Like, there was never the opportunity. I was always working in a factory, and you come home, you're tired, and you just haven't got the energy to do it, and then there's just not the opportunity to do it really, or the money, like the money to do it. Whereas now I can just go into my studio at my own pace, and I don't have to worry about anybody else. I don't have to worry about band members kind of not being able to roll up and having other things to do. So that's been really nice to have the kind of flexibility where I can do it. But it's just a motivation at the moment. I'm just not motivated. I don't really care too much about what I'll be doing next. I've got a few ideas though. I've always got ideas.
Of course you have.
I've got ideas, Like,
I've heard you say before that you have no ideas left, and
no, I have
that
no
lasts
idea.
about 2 days.
I have a bad memory. That's why, like when you look at the songs, the lyrics are really simple. When you're nervous, you get up on stage. It's hard to remember, simple things, let alone something that's really, really complicated. So I tended to keep things fairly simple. But
yes,
when
I've never seen you forget anything on stage yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember.
You can't remember whether you've forgotten it.
I can't remember whether I forgot. That sounds weird, doesn't it? How does that work?
Perfect.
Don't contemplate that too much. It'll do your head in.
Okay, so call to action for everyone out there. Have a listen to whatever, support it. Channeling Molly Meldrum would say, do yourself a favour and have a listen to it. And hopefully, if it does well, we'll have some more of Ivan's material to keep us interested.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Is that it? You're going to throw me out now?
Yeah, get out. Yeah, you've waffled long enough. Get out.